my name's Angela and welcome to my channel and my videos. Today I'm going to do a book review that I said I would do. If you're into a lot of crime novels and really scary ones, then it's not the type of book review for you because it's not what I read. I am into more humour and funny and girly books, but ones I've got lined up that I'm going to read, not the ones that I read, I can let you know roughly why they've been recommended to me, and I've heard they're really good. So I thought I'd show you, first of all tell you about the ones that I've actually read, which might be some good holiday books for you. I ordered these online. There is another one. It's by Becky Monson and it's 32 going on Spinster. And then this is book number 1, and this is on the lines if you like the humour of Confessions of a Shopaholic or Bridget Jones, that type of humour. And then the second one that I bought was 33 going on Girlfriend, which is the second one in line. Now there is a third one and I haven't read it yet, and that's 34. Right, okay, so these are the two books in line. So this is the first one, 32 going on Spinster and 33 going on Girlfriend. Now basically, I don't like to give too much of the book away because it'll spoil it for you, but it's about a girl in a dead-end job, really boring job, but she's in a comfortable position where it's everyday routine, and she lives in a mum and dad's basement because she hasn't bothered to move out and get an apartment. It's comfortable, she hardly pays any rent and everything else, and she thinks she's never going to find anyone, and it's all the quirky little things that happen along the way, and she goes to her dead-end job and all the funny things that happen in her job. But then things start changing in her workplace when a certain male member comes to work there. And basically, it's not all very fairy tale all the way through it. It's not huge romance. You know she likes him. As I said, it's hard not for me to give too much away, but basically her dream is always to have owned a bakery. She loves cooking, and let's put it this way, there's certain circumstances that sometimes give you that push and make you actually go and fulfill your dream, not because you want to be in them circumstances, because they could be a bit tragic, but sometimes you go through the worst to gain the better. And this is what this book's about, and that's why I liked it. It's all about living your dream and stop being stuck in a rut. So we do get in these dead-end jobs sometimes. Anyway, the second one, to carry on from that, is really enlightening what happens further on in her life. And as I said, I don't want to give too much away. But there's funny little things that you can relate to if you like the Great British Bake Off, that type of thing. And as I said, it's not completely full of romance and sloppy stuff. There are things in it you just think, oh, it's really actually quite good. So I've yet to read the third one. So that's obviously 34, when she becomes 34. I haven't ordered it yet because I've got quite a few other books to get through, but I'm hoping I don't forget the storyline of this before I read the next one. So I'll have to read that pretty quick. Yeah, so that is them two ones. Now, this is brilliant. This is, I lent this one to my daughter who loves Instagram, and I do Instagram. And she follows a lot of people on Instagram, and she was also sponsored by a teeth company because she was straightening her teeth and everything else. Basically, I love this because it's about a girl that lives in her own Instagram world, and what you see on Instagram and then what she puts out there is completely different, which obviously sometimes that happens. People just want the perfect Instagram shot, but I actually quite like the unusual photos and the funny photos and real everyday life photos, and not just this perfect photo. But yeah, so literally from what she comes across, what her real life is like on Instagram to what her real life is actually like, it actually comes crashing down on her. and without trying giving too much away, instead of her living in this high-flying job, or working in this high-flying job that she's made out to do in London, she ends up losing her mundane job and actually going back to work on her family farm. But then things really progress and move on. So without trying to give too much away, if you like humour, similar to, because it is Sophie Kinsella who actually wrote Confessions of a Shopaholic, which is one of my favourite authors actually, because I like her humour. So if you like that sort of humour, you'll love this book as well, and if you like Instagram, you'll love that book as well. So it's called My Not So Perfect Life. Now, I lent this to my daughter after I'd read it, because I knew it would be right up her street, and she was cooking her dinner one day, and that's how much she was engrossed in it. She actually burnt the corner of my book. She said, I was cooking the dinner, and she said, and I was reading my book at the same time, multitasking after work. So she's cooking the dinner and she burnt the book. So that was quite lucky she didn't do any more damage, but just to the book. But that's how much she was engrossed in this book. So I'm really hoping you enjoy it if you read it. Right, the next one is another Sophie Kinsella book. These are the ones obviously I've actually read. Now this Sophie Kinsella book is Can You Keep a Secret? This has got a lot of humour and a lot of more Bridget Jones style, I would put in it. And it's about a girl that hates flying, and she's had to fly back from somewhere, and she's on an aeroplane. And she goes through a bit of turbulence, quite heavy turbulence. So she goes through quite a bit of turbulence, and what she does is the guy on the plane next to her, well that's it. She completely tells him her whole life story because she thinks she's not going to survive, and it's just turbulence. And he just sits there gobsmacked. Well, things turn around when she gets off this plane and goes back to her job. Her job's, again, not very good. So all these ones are about rubbish office jobs where people are really unhappy in them. Anyway, her job isn't so good, and she always wants to achieve more and always wants to climb the ladder more, never given the opportunity. But things do turn around after she gets off this plane. And I would say that guy next to her might be involved, but that's sort of giving it away as well. But it might not be what you're thinking, so it's worth a read as well. And that's Can You Keep a Secret by Sophie Kinsella. They're the 4 books I want to recommend this time around. I do have others. I've got some that I'm really, really passionate about that I'd love you all to read, but they're the 4 I'm recommending at the moment. So going back to Sophie Kinsella, I'm just starting to read this one. I can't quite make it out yet. I've only just got through the first chapter, but it's about 2 sisters, and one of them not getting the man right, and how things develop. So far, it's called How Do You Stop Your Sister's Wedding Night When You Know It Won't Be Happy Ever After. So yeah, I can't really say much about this one yet because I really need to get into it to really like tell you a proper. It says funny, fast and fast. I don't know yet. Wait and see. I need to read a few more chapters. So that's a Sophie Kinsella book. Anyway, I work also as a manager, a temporary manager at the moment in charity shops. So my volunteers, we all talk about book reviews and things like that because they love books, so they're always saying, can you keep a lookout for these books when they come in, and then they buy them. But this was recommended to me by one of the volunteers, and it's called The 7 Sisters. Now what intrigued me about this book, which I think is worth reading, is it's about a guy who's a billionaire, and he adopts 7 sisters from all around the world and all different backgrounds. And so this book here particularly is about when he dies and what happens when the sisters all come together again as they're older. So this is more about the setting up. This is the first book of the whole series. So each one goes on to talk about each sister and their past and how they become his daughter and their life. So this is the start of the first book. So it's it does give you a background on the beginning. when they all come together. So the other one that I've got is Pearl Sister. So there's quite a few. There's Storm Sister, Pearl Sister. Read more about Ali and her sisters in the Storm Sister. So I think they're all out now, although one of the volunteers says when you read about it. Okay, so this, although it's the start of the first of the books, this is Maya's story, which is one of the sisters. The sisters are called Maya, Ali, Star, Cece, Tiggy, Electra, and Merope. But it actually says, I don't know if you can see it there, it actually says that that one, the end one, Merope, is missing. So one of the ladies said to me that that hasn't been wrote yet, and it is the very last book, so they're still waiting for it to come out. I don't know yet, I don't know whether that's true, but I'm just going to see if I can get into the first one, and if so I'll read Pearl Sister after, which has also been lent to me. So so that's one of the books I'll be reading, and at the moment I'm just trying to tackle Wedding Night by Sophie Kinsella. Right, the next book, if you've seen my book review, I haven't actually got around to reading this yet, and I must, is by Ishbel Holmes. True story of a lady that I follow called World Bike Girl. And yeah, just her incredible journey. I'm not going to bang on too much about it because I've actually done a video about it when I meant to meet her at a book review. She's incredible lady. Saves rescue dogs around the world. She's campaigned quite a bit as well about rescuing dogs and animals. Well, dogs mainly, not animals. She's campaigned a lot about rescuing dogs. So that is really worth a read. Some of the stories she told us at the book review was really fascinating, and I really admire her. The last book that I've got here to read is probably quite well known by you all, but I haven't read it yet. Is Eleanor Offalan is Completely Fine. Now I've heard this is very funny but also very sad, so it's a bit of a tearjerker book. It says it's an outstanding debut about loneliness and the power of kindness. Very funny, hugely funny, but very sad tale. My daughter, as we pass books backwards and forwards to each other, she said, "Mum, you've just got to read it. There's no words to describe it. You've just got to read it." She said it's just amazing how you have to get inside someone else's mind and then realise what they're talking about. Yeah, so that one I'll try and do a book review once I've read it. But that one's obviously a really touching book to read. So I hope that's given you some ideas on some books to read, and I'll tell you about the ones that I've read. And yeah, hope you enjoy reading, and see you all later. Bye.